We often look back at the Middle Ages with a sense of superiority. We label them the Dark Ages. We imagine a time of superstition, ignorance, and constant suffering. Our modern era, by contrast, seems enlightened. We possess advanced technology. We have global communication networks. We have achieved unprecedented scientific understanding. Yet, a crucial question arises. Are we truly better equipped to handle profound crises? Or have our advancements come at a hidden cost, perhaps leaving us more vulnerable in ways we seldom acknowledge? The perception of unyielding medieval darkness is a simplification. It was an era of immense challenges, certainly. Famine, plague, and warfare were recurrent specters. However, it was also a period that fostered deep communal bonds. People lived in tightly knit communities. They shared a common understanding of the world, often rooted in religious faith. This shared worldview provided a framework for collective action and mutual support. When disaster struck, the response, however limited by scientific knowledge, was often a communal one. Consider our contemporary world. We live in an age of information overload. We are connected, yet often feel profoundly isolated. Crises still occur, whether pandemics, economic downturns, or environmental disasters. Have we traded robust community for fragile individualism? Feudal society, dominant in Europe for centuries, was fundamentally structured around interdependence. It was a hierarchical system, to be sure. Lords, vassals, and serfs all had their designated places. Yet this hierarchy was also built upon a complex web of mutual obligations. A lord owed protection to his vassals and serfs. In return, vassals provided military service, and serfs provided labor and a share of their produce. This system was far from equitable by modern standards. However, it did create a framework where everyone, in theory, had a role and a responsibility to others within their immediate community. The manor or village was the crucible of medieval life. Here, people were born, worked, married, and died, often without venturing far. This geographical confinement fostered intense localism. Neighbors knew each other intimately. They relied on one another for everything from building homes to bringing in the harvest. Communal resources like common grazing lands or forests for firewood were essential for survival. This daily practical interdependence was the bedrock of their social existence. The well-being of the individual was inextricably linked to the well-being of the group. This was not a choice, but a stark reality. The medieval world was steeped in religious faith. The Christian church was not just a spiritual institution, it was a pervasive social, political, and cultural force. Its doctrines shaped how people understood their existence, their purpose, and their place in the cosmos. This shared religious framework provided a common language and a unified lens through which to interpret life's events, including devastating crises. When plague or famine descended, it was often understood within a theological context as a test of faith, a divine punishment for sin, or a manifestation of God's inscrutable will. This common spiritual understanding fostered a collective psychological response to adversity. Rituals, prayers, and communal acts of penance were common responses. These activities, performed together, reinforced social bonds and provided an outlet for shared grief and anxiety. The belief in an afterlife also profoundly influenced how medieval people faced mortality. Modern society presents a stark contrast to the communal structures of the Middle Ages. We live in an era often characterized by hyper-individualism. The emphasis is frequently placed on personal achievement, self-reliance, and individual rights. While these values have driven progress in many areas, they can also contribute to social fragmentation. We are more connected than ever through digital technology, social media, instant messaging, global news networks. Yet paradoxically, many report feeling more isolated. Technology is our primary tool for managing crises today. We develop vaccines, build early warning systems, and use complex logistical networks to distribute aid. These technological solutions are undeniably powerful and have saved countless lives. However, this reliance on technology can sometimes overshadow the need for human-centered, community-based responses. The sheer scale and complexity of modern societies also contribute to this sense of individual powerlessness. We are citizens of vast nation-states, cogs in global economic systems. The Black Death, which ravaged Europe in the mid-14th century, stands as one of history's most devastating crises. It wiped out a significant portion of the population, transforming society in profound ways. Faced with such an overwhelming catastrophe, medieval communities responded with a mixture of terror, desperation, and remarkable resilience. Their medical knowledge was, by modern standards, virtually non-existent in terms of understanding the plague's transmission. Yet, their social structures and shared beliefs shaped their attempts to cope with the unimaginable scale of death and suffering that surrounded them every single day. Religious responses were naturally at the forefront. Many interpreted the plague as divine punishment. This led to widespread public displays of penance, processions of flagellants whipping themselves, communal prayers, and increased devotion. While these actions did nothing to halt the spread of the disease, they provided a framework for understanding the catastrophe and a means for people to collectively express their fear and seek divine mercy. Beyond religious responses, there were also practical, though often misguided, attempts at containment. Amidst the social and political upheavals of the early 16th century, a period not long after the medieval era's peak, Sir Thomas More penned his famous work, Utopia. Published in 1516, this book presented a vision of an ideal society, a stark contrast to the realities of contemporary Europe, which was rife with inequality, poverty, and conflict. More's Utopia was an imaginary island commonwealth where reason, cooperation, and communal well-being were paramount. It was a place where private property was abolished and all citizens contributed to the common good through shared labor, working only 6 hours a day. In Utopia, resources were held in common. Food was distributed from communal storehouses and citizens ate together in large dining halls. Thomas More's Utopia painted a picture of a society where communal well-being was the ultimate aim. Citizens worked together for the common good, resources were shared equitably, and the pursuit of excessive wealth was scorned. When we look at our modern world, nearly 5 centuries after More penned his vision, the chasm between that ideal and our current reality often appears vast and disheartening. Instead of communal ownership, we see unprecedented concentrations of private wealth. Instead of shared labor for collective benefit, we often witness fierce competition for individual gain, sometimes at great social and environmental cost. The motivations that More sought to temper greed, the pursuit of power, and an insatiable desire for material possessions seem to be dominant forces in many contemporary societies. The global economic system, while generating immense wealth, also perpetuates significant inequalities. Corporations, driven by the imperative of profit maximization, can exert enormous influence over political decisions and societal values. Our modern era boasts incredible technological advancements and a globalized economy. These developments have brought undeniable benefits, from medical breakthroughs to instant communication across continents. However, this progress has also come with a significant reshaping of social structures and power dynamics. The rise of massive corporations with influence that can sometimes rival that of nation-states is a defining feature of our times. These entities, primarily driven by the need to generate profit for shareholders, play a huge role in shaping our lives, our economies, and even our responses to crises, often in ways that diverge from purely communal interests. The focus on economic efficiency and market-driven solutions can sometimes lead to the erosion of community bonds. Services that were once provided through local networks of mutual support or by public institutions are increasingly privatized or commodified. Reflecting on the Middle Ages, it becomes clear that their approach to crisis management, born of necessity and shaped by a different worldview, offers valuable lessons for our contemporary, technologically advanced, yet often fragmented societies. They lacked our scientific understanding and sophisticated tools, yet they possessed a form of resilience rooted in strong communal bonds, shared values, and a profound sense of mutual obligation. These are elements that we may have inadvertently neglected in our pursuit of individual autonomy and material progress, much to our detriment when faced with systemic shocks. One crucial lesson lies in the importance of local community networks. In the medieval village, survival often depended on neighbors helping neighbors. While we cannot replicate the feudal manner, we can certainly foster stronger local connections in our own neighborhoods and towns. Supporting local initiatives, participating in community groups, and simply getting to know the people around us can build a reservoir of social capital. This social capital proves invaluable during crises, providing practical help, emotional support, and a sense of solidarity that large, impersonal systems often struggle to deliver effectively or with genuine human warmth. Another insight comes from their capacity for shared meaning-making, often through faith. While a return to a singular religious worldview is unlikely and undesirable in our pluralistic world, the need for shared values and a sense of collective purpose remains.